The year 2023 has been a year with an alarming number of climate change records.
This has affected the lives of billions of people. As things stand, global greenhouse gas emissions are at their highest level known to humankind. Science tells us that we need to stay below 1.5 degrees in order to prevent the planet from slipping into further climate crisis. That will require immediate and deep emission reductions across all sectors. To assess how far we've come towards climate neutrality, the world is taking stock of global climate action, and so is the Nordic region. So how are we doing in the Nordics? The Nordic Stocktake Visions project showcases just how far the Nordic region has come on the road towards climate neutrality. And it also presents us with visions of life in a climate-neutral society. A climate-neutral society is not only a question of changing technologies, it's also our chance to create a better society for all. As we are about to show you, much remains to be done. But with rapid and deep transformations across every sector and all systems, it's possible to get there.
Now is the time to be super brave, because that's what's needed from us.
We need a systemic transition from linear to circular, from fossil to renewable, and basically to make a sustainable economy in all aspects.
The Nordic countries all have their sights set on becoming net zero societies. Greenhouse gas emissions in the Nordic countries have been reduced by 26% in 2021, compared to 1990. This reduction has almost exclusively been achieved through large emissions reductions of 40% in the energy sector, mainly thanks to renewable wind and solar power. Although the energy transition in the Nordic countries so far has been a Nordic success story, green energy production needs to be expanded and energy efficiency measures taken. In front of us also lies the major challenge of decarbonizing domestic transport, industry, and agriculture. Since 1990, the greenhouse gas emissions from the domestic transport sector have been reduced by 5%. Emissions from industry have been reduced by 17%. And in agriculture, emissions have been reduced by 12%, and at the same time, the amount of carbon absorbed by forests and soil has decreased by 31%. The science is clear. A giant leap towards net zero is needed. The good news is that there are many ways of decarbonizing, and many of the technologies needed already exist. Some of these are being pioneered in the Nordics.
The Nordic industrial sector can and should become a leader in the global transition to climate neutrality. And despite the costs involved, being a leader can create competitive advantage, because a decarbonized world economy is the only economy of the future.
The transition to a climate-neutral society poses an immense challenge, but one that gives us the possibility to create a brighter future and a society that gives space for climate-neutral lifestyles. What could a Nordic climate-neutral society look like? To answer this question, the Nordic Stocktake reached out to a diverse group of Nordic thought leaders, asking them to visualize alternative futures.
The Nordic countries are in a position to lead the way to climate neutrality. To do so, we need visions to create that change. Nordic thought leaders have visions of a society in balance, environmentally and socially. It's a healthier society, a society with strong bonds to nature, strong local communities, and more spare time.
A climate-neutral society is not only a question of changing technologies, it's also our chance to create a better society for all. What kind of a climate-neutral society would you like to live in?